Hello everyone, welcome back to the first module, first module of Data Career Foundation. So here we we would discuss a few topics, and the first topic would be why data is the future. So this would help you understand how data is making the difference, and also how you are using the data in your daily life, and how you can ask the right questions to make data useful for the businesses, for the daily life and all of that. So let's get started. Moving on, so we'll start here. So what is data? Data is already a part of everyday life for us. The only thing is we don't recognize that as data. So if you have a phone in your hand, so your steps, your location, your screen time, everything is data. And if you are making online purchases, then your searches, your purchases, your playlist, everything, every app that you are using is creating data. And also in the real world, apart from the mobile or the social media, apart from that, in the real world, when you go out in the traffic, there is data, weather, delivery updates, everything is part of data. So every interaction is going to leave a clue for you, and those clues becomes data. So moving on to the next one. So if you want to have the basic idea on what is data, data is the collection of facts. So the fact can be a number, a photo, a time, a click, a word, anything. Fact is that is something that is quantifiable, that is a kind of event that has happened. Suppose, for example, if we see here a fact with context, suppose it's saying a student watched a lesson for 12 minutes. So if I post a video, I can see how many, that particular student watched this video for this many minutes. So that is a fact. So the student watching the lesson is fact, and with the context, he watched for 12 minutes. So what is the useful information that we can draw out of this context, or out of this fact, is like the lesson needs a clearer explanation, because it is of almost 30 or 40 minutes of lesson, and only student was able to watch for 12 minutes. Then definitely the video has to be improved, or it has to be made more clear for the student to understand. So this is how data helps us by using the facts. Facts will become valuable when we ask good questions about them. Moving on, so if we want to understand what is the everyday impact of data, so uh, it's like it often run background quietly in everything. For example, if you see the Google Maps or the uh, maps that you have in your phone, then you have to find a faster route. That kind of fastest route calculation would be happening based on data. And if you consider music and video, so based on your previous watch list, or based on your previous searches, we can suggest what are the ones that you can enjoy now. And similarly, if you consider online shopping, based on the items that you have searched earlier, or ordered earlier, or viewed earlier, based on that we can show the recommendations, and we can provide you the items that fit your needs. And coming to healthcare, we can, so based on the previous patient's data over the time, we can predict and spot the patterns that are there, uh, uh, based on one's lifestyle, or based on one's genetics, the location they are born, and so many factors. Considering so many factors, So we can spot some patterns and we can predict the things that can happen to that particular individual. So data is everywhere. Data is impacting us everywhere, even if we acknowledge it or not. Data is everyday thing. So now if that is for an individual or for a normal common person, so what does data mean for business? Understanding this question is very important, because when you are seeking a career in data, so you need to understand what businesses really look for. So if you can understand and address the problem that businesses are facing, then you will be hitting the right spot. Okay, so for example, we can think, um, suppose a business that has been there, and business will be having customers, will be having orders, will be having suppliers. So all these different elements are there in a business, in a typical business. So without data, they cannot guess what customers want. Suppose there is a e-commerce business that is happening, or a retail business, so they cannot simply guess the what customers want, and they may uh, pile up the stock that is not what customers want, and they can land in losses. Instead of that, if they have data, they can see what customer needs earlier, so we can identify the patterns that have happened over the time and see, okay, this is the trending option right now the customers are choosing. So maybe we need to stock this up, and we need to stock the other one, we need to lower the stocks on the other one, and what is selling, that we need to make it available. And also, without reacting after the problem growing, so we'll be finding problems faster to fix them, because sometimes in businesses, when identifying the right problem earlier is the key, because sometimes if we identify the problem, and by the time, if it can ruin the business, and it can lead to the shutdown of the business. So it is very important to identify to the problem, and identify the problem and fix it faster. And data definitely helps, so we can understand, if a sales trend is going downward, we can analyze and see why it is happening, what is influencing. We can understand all the features that are there in the data, and fix the problem faster. And also, we can, without data, it is like debating without clear evidence. It's like one has to follow his own instincts, but if we have data, we can make choices based on the evidence. So we can see, okay, at this point of time last year, customers has brought in these many orders for this particular segment, so maybe we can increase the production there, and eventually our customers would be increasing, and our orders would be increasing, something like that. So businesses need data very badly to make their businesses run smooth. And most of the business will oversee the at least 6 months to 1 year of data. They will forecast, and they will make all the arrangements, and they will see, and will try to will try not to hit any hard blocks that are coming on their way. So moving on, so there are two aspects to data. Okay, one is the data analysis, and the other is the data engineering. So data analysis is, so it is bringing a beautiful answer or a useful answer out of your data. So we have so much of data, we have customer data, order data, we have suppliers data, and all of that. But using these data, we can build a meaningful dashboard that can tell us which sales went how, and in which segment the sales went up, and which segment did perform good, and what is a popular item that went out of stock quickly, something like that. So we can ask these three questions. We can address these three questions in that dashboard, like what happened, sales fell last week, so why did it happen? Because a popular item that is needed, it went out of stock, and everyone looked for that item, it was not there with us. So what should we do? We should restock it before the next campaign. So this kind of sequential or clear steps can be derived from a dashboard for the that has the clear data. Okay, so a good analysis helps make better next decision. So that is what data analysis is all about, and that is what a data analyst does. Moving on to data engineering. So the data engineering is the prior part to data analysis. That means, so data, what does data engineer do is he will collect all the data. Data can be in multiple sources based on the business requirements. It can be in the database, it can be in other sources like APIs, it can be in multiple sources. It can be in some forms, it can be in some Excel sheets, Google sheets, whatever it may be. And what does data engineer does is he will make data available for the analyst to use, in simple words. So the data engineer builds the reliable path from source to insight. So the insight would be built by data analyst, but data engineer will build that path where all the data, the required data is available. So he will collect the data and he will organize the data, and he will deliver the data to the teams that are using the data to build meaningful visualizations or dashboards. So it's like when the foundation is reliable, when the data engineer does his job good, then everyone in the team can use that data confidently and answer the questions that are having. So which one is the best, either engineering or data analysis? I have to say both are required. It's like one builds the road and the other people choose where to go. It's something like that. So data engineer builds the road, he sets up everything that is needed, and the data analyst will bring meaningful visualizations or dashboards that are required for the business. So together, data engineer and data analyst will help the business to learn, improve, and grow. So in simple words, if I had to say, data careers is all about curiosity, not coding. Okay, so you have to ask the right questions, you have to explore how you can show that using your data, and you should be also able to explain what should happen next. So if you are a person who can do all of this, and if you wanted to solve the problems that business is having using the data, then definitely you can sign up for the data career courses, and definitely you can make changes for any kind of business. So to answer why data is the future, because world creates more signals. So it's like data is created every second, every hundredth of second, I have to say. So data is continuously generated. Data is becoming more and more important, more and more vital in each and every individual, and also for the businesses. So if data is that much vital and data is that much evergreen, then whoever working on data are always needed and they cannot be replaced. So it is always the data is something that is always a necessity for the businesses and individuals to go forward. So that's the reason why the data is the future. So data is the present, data is the past, and data is also future. So I would like to end it up there, and I'll see you in the next one. So in the next lecture, we will, as part of the data career foundation module, we will cover up what is the data career roadmap and which one to choose. I'll all meet you there. Thanks.